You are sitting alone in a quiet room. No television, no traffic, no hum of conversation. And within minutes, something strange happens. Your skin prickles. Your ears strain for something, anything, to listen to. You feel like you are being watched. You are not imagining this. Your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. Silence should feel safe. No danger is announcing itself. Nothing is rustling in the grass. So why does quiet so often feel like the opposite of safety? Why does a library at midnight feel more unsettling than a crowded street? The answer is not psychological. It is ancient. For most of human history, sound was survival. Your ancestors did not live in silence. They lived inside a constant low buzz of information. Insects chirping, birds calling, wind moving through leaves. This background noise was not clutter. It was a kind of ambient safety report, playing on a loop, telling the brain that nothing dangerous was close enough to disturb it. When that noise disappeared, it meant something had disturbed it. A predator moving through the brush, a rival group approaching, something large enough and close enough to silence an entire landscape. Silence was never neutral. Silence was a warning. The behavioral ecologist Daniel Blumstein has spent decades studying what he calls the landscape of fear, the invisible map of danger that animals build from sound. In Blumstein's research, prey animals do not wait to see a predator before reacting. They react the moment the ambient soundscape changes. A sudden hush across a field is enough to send a herd into alert, long before any threat is visible. Your ancestors were no different. A drop in birdsong was not a peaceful pause. It was data. And the humans who paid attention to that data outlived the ones who did not. This is why your body still tenses in a silent room today. You are not overreacting. You are running software that is hundreds of thousands of years old, in an environment it was never designed for. Have you ever noticed how a completely silent house feels louder than a noisy one? Your brain is not built to process the absence of sound. It is built to search for sound. In true silence, your auditory system does not relax. It amplifies. It turns up its own internal gain, hunting for the faintest signal, because in the ancestral world, silence this complete almost never happened naturally. Something was usually humming, buzzing, or breathing nearby. When there is truly nothing to hear, the brain treats that absence itself as suspicious. There is a stranger layer to this story, one most people have never heard of. In 1998, a researcher at Coventry University named Vic Tandy was working late in a laboratory when he began to feel a creeping sense of dread. He felt watched, uneasy, cold, for no clear reason. Tandy eventually traced the feeling not to anything supernatural, but to a fan generating a low-frequency hum just below the range of conscious human hearing. This is called infrasound. Tandy's research suggested that certain low, inaudible frequencies can trigger feelings of unease and fear in humans, even when a person consciously perceives total silence. In other words, some of what you label as silence may not be silent at all. Your ears may be picking up frequencies your conscious mind cannot name, while your nervous system reacts anyway. You feel the fear before you understand the cause. That is not a flaw. That is exactly how your threat detection system was designed to work. The neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux mapped this process directly to a structure deep in your brain called the amygdala. LeDoux's research revealed that the amygdala can trigger a fear response before the rest of your brain has consciously identified a threat at all. Sound, even sound you cannot fully perceive, can reach this ancient alarm system first, and your logical mind is often the last to find out why your hands went cold. So when a quiet room makes your neck prickle, your amygdala may already be responding to something your conscious mind has not caught up to yet. Think about how this shapes modern life without you ever noticing. Horror films do not frighten you with loud noises alone. The scariest moments almost always come after a long stretch of silence, a hush the filmmaker builds on purpose, because your nervous system was primed for exactly this trick by millions of years of evolution. The silence is the threat. The jump scare is only the confirmation. This is also why so many people cannot sleep without background noise. A fan, a podcast, white noise from a phone. It is not a modern habit born of distraction. It is an old survival instinct asking to be fed. Give the brain something ambient to monitor, and it can finally stop treating the emptiness as a threat. Even the discomfort of eye contact in total silence, the awkward stretch of a quiet elevator ride, traces back to the same root. Humans evolved in groups that were rarely silent. Talking, laughing, calling to each other across camps, this was the normal soundscape of togetherness. A silence between two people did not simply mean nothing was happening. It could mean something had gone wrong. Is it any wonder that silence between friends can feel like tension, while silence between strangers can feel like danger? There is a reason ancient humans rarely slept alone, and it was not only about warmth. A sleeping group produced a constant low murmur of breathing, shifting, occasional muttering. That murmur was a signal too. It told the sleeping brain that the group was intact, undisturbed, unthreatened. Silence breaking that murmur, a sudden gap in the breathing pattern of the camp, could mean someone had gone missing. Or worse, that something had taken them without a sound. Researchers studying vigilance behavior in early human communities have noted a pattern similar to what Blumstein observed in animals. Groups that maintained some baseline noise, chatter, tool use, footsteps, tended to relax more fully during rest. Total quiet, especially quiet that arrived suddenly, triggered heightened arousal even in sleep, pulling people toward waking alertness rather than deep rest. This may explain something almost everyone has felt but rarely questioned. Why does waking up in the middle of the night, in a house that has gone completely still, feel different from waking up with soft sounds nearby? Your nervous system is not simply annoyed by the quiet. It is running a check. It wants to know why the usual signals have stopped. Consider how differently silence is treated across ordinary situations. A silent phone after sending an important message. A silent hallway outside a hospital room. A silent classroom right before a teacher speaks. In each case, the silence itself becomes charged with meaning, heavier than any sound could be. That weight is not invented by modern anxiety. It is inherited. None of this means silence is your enemy. It means your body has never fully believed that silence is safe, because for nearly all of human history, it usually was not. The next time you sit alone in a quiet room and feel your skin prickle, you will know what is actually happening. Your ears are not malfunctioning. Your mind is not overreacting. You are simply carrying an ancient alarm system, tuned over hundreds of thousands of years, still listening for a threat that, this time, was never there. You are sitting alone in a quiet room. And for the first time, the silence does not feel empty. It feels like proof of just how long your ancestors listened, so that you could finally learn to sit still.